and welcome yet again to the LowSide Theory, brought to you by Damage Manufacturing Supply Limited, www.damagemfg.com. Surprisingly enough, or maybe not surprisingly depending on your perspective, it's Friday here in Portland, which makes me pretty happy because it's the end of the week. And it's a beautiful sunny day here in Portland, and by that I mean it's the same as every other day. It's bright gray. So nothing changes in certain respects. And also, because it's still spring, it's still about 50 degrees. So, yet again, nothing changes in that respect. But like I said, it is Friday. And that means that once my day is done, I will be meeting up with good friends and be proceeding to drink myself into a stupor, because that's what Fridays are for, at least in my world. Now, when I say that, yes, I'm going to go out drinking, and I'm going to have copious numbers of rum and cokes, and probably eat a hamburger. But I will not be riding a motorcycle for that, because that would be a bad idea. And whoa, the traffic does not appear to be backed up this morning as I come around the ramp. I actually see cars moving. Now, whether or not it's like that about 2 miles down a road, we'll find out. But I think we're actually going to get a decent merge today. And I had to floor it because the guy in the Toyota behind me, or was it a Honda, was not going to let me in. Come on, dude, pass me. You're so hot to trot, fucking pass me. I hate people that really don't want to let you merge. It's kind of uncool. It's like, I have no choice. I have to merge. The lane ends. So you're going to speed up so that I can't get in effectively and make me jam on my brakes? No, I'm faster than you. I will pass your ass. That, and he looks like he's a dealer driving the car. So really, you're a dealer. You don't even own a car. Drive a little more responsibly, Homestar. Come on now. Don't make me force my way into traffic. That's the kind of shit that pisses me off. People just don't know how to merge. I'm accelerating into traffic. Make room. When I'm in a car, I get over. I slow down. I get out of the way, so I'm not taking up their merge space. And this person is really sitting on my ass in this lane. Their car is covered in stickers, but they're not going anywhere. I'd really like them to get out of my way. Oh well. At least I'm moving, but it's slowing up front, isn't it? Yep, I see brake lights. Well, at least the acceleration part of our trip was fun. Oh, there's a truck getting in my lane. That'll bode fun later. Yeah, the acceleration part and the getting onto the freeway part was kind of entertaining. I enjoyed that. Yeah, sometimes Fridays there's no traffic at all. Sometimes it's an absolute nightmare. It depends on the Friday. And it looks like that big tractor trailer up there is carrying some sort of power station hardware, like some sort of giant capacitor or something. I see cooling vanes on something big and gray, but I can't actually get close to it because of the rest of traffic. Oh well. Yeah, it's still gray enough and early enough that oncoming traffic, a lot of people still have their headlights on. You know it's a gray and gloomy day when the headlights are on. And this guy's braking way early. I think we're afraid of driving. I think that's the trick here. They're afraid of driving. Yeah, those are big power capacitor kind of things. I'm not exactly sure what those are, but I know they're part of a power station of some kind. I know enough to be dangerous in that respect, in that I know kind of what I'm talking about, but not really. I'm guessing. I admit that. But at least I know what they're for, even if I don't know quite what they are. So I'm partially educated in that respect. It's a transformer or a capacitor or something of that nature. I think the truckster wants over. Nope, he stopped signaling. I would have let him in. Always be nice to the trucks. They're bigger than you and they'll crush you. If you're not careful. And we've all seen that YouTube video, that guy sliding under the truck and coming out unscathed. Yeah, nobody else is going to ever have that luck. Least of all me. So yeah, I don't plan on doing anything stupid around the trucks. And as we're doing this, I apologize if there's a lot of coughing and throat clearing in this recording this morning. My allergies are starting to kick in. So, yeah, I'm a little bit congested. I apologize for that. I took my allergy medication, but I took it about 10 minutes ago, so it hasn't kicked in yet. Yeah, mornings are always weird for me because of the whole allergy thing. It all collects overnight, and the next morning you wake up all cruddy. It's always gross. And everybody's going slow just because they're going slow now. I see brake lights and people moving slowly, not for any reason other than that's what they're choosing to do. Which always makes me skeptical of traffic. Because, like, wait, why are you going slow for no reason? If I can get ahead of this white van, I will be happy. And this is going to be a very aggressive lane change. Yep, that worked. Alright, and we are where we want to be. Love it. One of the beautiful things about riding a motorcycle, you can change lanes and fit in spaces that most people normally wouldn't ever try. In my car, I would never make some of the lane changes I make on a bike. Simply because the bike is tiny. The bike is about the size of me. Or rather, that would make me pretty big. So, yeah, let's take that back and walk that back a second. And go, I'm small and the bike is small. And that makes a little more sense. But, yeah, I can fit the bike in places that I wouldn't ever try and fit a car. And that makes lane changing a lot easier. That and I can accelerate a hell of a lot faster. Okay, I respect the person in that gray car that's one car ahead of me. Because they got a NASA sticker on the window. Because NASA is cool. NASA went to the moon. NASA built the space shuttle. Mercury astronauts, all that fun stuff. Respect for NASA. Bunch of guys that went to the moon with duct tape, Kapton tape, and tinfoil. And a really good idea and a slide rule. Seriously, they went to the moon with a slide rule. That just amazes me. You're talking about some serious brain pan there. They got to the moon with a slide rule. I will never not respect that. I couldn't get to Eugene, Oregon with a slide rule. And that's 90 miles away. The moon is 3 days by space travel. And they got there with analog math. No calculators, analog math. Pencils and paper. And smarts. I respect that. Alright, we're getting to the end of our journey here, folks, because that was a pretty quick commute. So I'm going to say good morning, good day, good evening, good night, whatever. And also, as always, ride smart, ride safe, ride well. Thanks for joining us on the LowSide Theory. We always appreciate your viewing and any comments that you have to make, and we look forward to seeing you soon. In fact, we're starting to roll these videos together, so morning and evening are one big video. So we'll see you in a little while for the afternoon. Take care. Alright, thanks again for checking out the LowSide Theory, brought to you by Damage Manufacturing Supply Limited. For you, it's been scant seconds. For me, it's been about 8 hours, as I've been at work all day. We're going to do this whole commuting thing yet again. It's going to be exciting. Only this time, we're leaving around 4 or 4:30ish, and traffic should be, well, traffic on a Friday. And, yeah, the difference big time here is I'm also wearing a backpack with 2 full-size laptops and a whole bunch of other junk in it. Because I'm a professional IT guy, so I've got a backpack full of tech. So, let's get moving, and we'll talk as we go. So I have to admit, I saw something cool on my way over from my office to the parking deck. As I was waiting across the street wearing all my gear, a guy rode by me on this super rat-rotted out chopper. It was hardtail, totally custom built, no branding of any kind on it. Really gorgeous bike, huge ape hangers. But what really sealed the deal for me in just loving his bike was the fact that he had a suicide shift on that thing. Now, if you don't know what I mean by that, normally, motorcycles, if you're in the loop, left side, by your foot, there's a little shifter that goes up and down that changes your gears. Pretty standardized across the industry. This guy had affixed a shaft to it and had to take his left hand off the bars and literally actuate it with his left hand. So he had to throw it back and forth manually. That's pretty awesome. And that's the kind of thing you don't normally do unless you're a total chopper guy. That's a very specific custom kind of thing. Not something I would ever probably do, just because it's going to throw me off. But yeah, it was a pretty specific and pretty custom thing. And his bike was pretty loud and brappy. And as choppers go, when he rolled by, my first thought was, yep, he's the real deal. He's not faking it. That's not something you do because it's cool. That's something you do because you're a chopper guy. So yeah, I saw his bike and I was just like instantly impressed. I was like, yep, if we were at a bar, I'd buy him a drink because he's pretty cool. We'd probably have a good conversation about bikes. So yeah, I got to see a guy on a super rat-rotted chopper with massive ape hangers and a suicide shift today. That's just not something you ever see. So yeah, I enjoyed that. Alright, we're going to play our game in traffic today. There's folks everywhere. I'm going to let the lady on the with the stroller go by because that's the nice thing to do. And she's actually trying to move quickly. And there's kids too. Oh, look at that, kids. More people coming that way. Guy in a blue blazer. Oh, somebody at Saturn's cutting through traffic. I'm going to put myself out just a hair further and see if I can't mush in. Everybody's cramming into that right lane as they do. And I guarantee you, if I try and pull out, somebody's going to duck in. Alright, looks like I get to go. I'll take that, and I'm not going to make the light. Oh well, at least I'm on the street now, as opposed to in the parking deck. That's a plus. So the temperature has gone up to about 70-ish, and it's partly sunny, and by Portland standards, that's very sunny. So there's technically more clouds than sun, but it's a nice day outside. It's a little more humid than Portland gets, and by everybody else's standards, that's not humid at all. But I can feel it. But then again, I grew up in massive humidity, so I know what it feels like. And we're literally just waiting for traffic to go. So yeah, as I mentioned, I've got a backpack full of junk right now, which is super exciting. Are these people going? Yes, there. Alright, we got the green. So yeah, I got a backpack full of junk right now. I'm literally hauling 2 MacBook Pros on my back right now. Bose headphones, power adapters, and a whole bunch of other junk. Just because if there's one thing I don't do on the weekends, it's leave my laptops in my office. That just doesn't sound like a good idea at all, because the one time I did that, that's when something would magically disappear when I wasn't paying attention. Now, my Windows laptop, yeah, that stays in the locked cabinet in the office, because if that thing goes away, I don't give a shit. If you haven't figured it out, I'm a Mac person. I've always been a Mac person. I will always be a Mac person. So while I do try to keep this apolitical as I can, my technological allegiance should be pretty straightforward. I've been a professional Mac nerd for over 20 years. I am Apple hardware and software certified, among other things. And yeah, I fix Macs for a living for a large software company, which is pretty awesome. They pay me to do something I'm good at and that I love. So yeah, I'm a trade nerd. I'm not going to complain about that one bit. Not always very often that you find a way to do what you love for a living and have you not hate it. Because wise man once said, figure out what you love to do and then never do it for a living, because you'll learn to hate it. I can safely say that I have not learned to hate computers. And yeah, I'm pretty good at fixing them. So yeah, I work for a large software company and I fly their IT. And that's pretty cool. Alright, people are getting weird here, as always happens, because this is not a 2-lane split. But we're moving, so I'm not going to complain. And the freeway doesn't look terrible. Notice these signs all say ramp signal on? Yeah. Now look at the ramp signal that's just up here on the left of me. It has not worked in maybe 6 months. It's just never on. It doesn't trigger. There's no lights. Alright, so there's cars coming up. What's this guy behind me going to do? He saw me signaling, but he decided to push through anyway. That was nice of him. But he did buy a mini SUV. Let's go around him. Alright, and we're moving. Wave to that guy. Now, once we get past the curve, traffic will probably slow up a bit. That's normal. But I'm surprised it's not backed up super bad on a Friday. I'm okay with that. And the sooner I get home and get to drop the backpack, the happier I will be. Because right now it just feels like there's a cinder block attached to my back. and it throws off my weight just a little bit. Not that I can't counteract that, but I notice it. I have a tail bag. I got a really nice Kriega tail bag, one of their dry packs, that bolts to the tail of my bike. But I try to use that primarily when I'm hauling lots of stuff, or if I'm traveling, because otherwise you just got this big cyst on the back of your bike, and the backpack's usually good enough for a laptop. There's a guy on a big cruiser. So yeah, I try not to use the dry pack unless I have to, but man, if you are thinking about a Kriega bag, go ahead and pull that trigger. Those things are swanky, and they are nice, and they're indestructible. And when they say waterproof, they're not kidding. I have driven through some hellacious rain with that thing on my back, and have managed to stay dry. So, yeah, Kriega, very good stuff. Hit RevZilla.com and check it out if you're inclined to take my recommendation. And yeah, there is that traffic slowdown that I was mentioning was probably going to happen. It has indeed happened. And hopefully it'll smooth out a little bit up here. But yeah, I kind of saw this coming. Yeah, there are days when I've sat next to this exit ramp for like half an hour. There's another chopper guy. Next to this exit ramp for a half an hour, waiting for traffic to move. And you don't dare go to the surface streets, because they'll be just as bad, because everybody else has the same idea. Oh, traffic's crappy. Let's take the surface streets. And then you got to worry about cross traffic and stoplights and all that fun stuff. And that guy has a lot of antennas on his Crown Victoria. I don't think he needs all those antennas, but he has them. So, you know, I guess it's more antennas make you more cool or more connected. I don't know. I can't remember the last time I actually legitimately saw a car. Wave to that guy. With one of them curly little cell phone antennas that wasn't, you know, aesthetic. But hey, to each their own. Of course, I remember when cell phones were called car phones. And cell phones, if they weren't attached to your car, came with a really big battery pack. So that should tell you how old I am. And yeah, in regard to that, I'm old enough to be a dad, but I'm not old enough to be your dad. So we'll just leave it at that. And it looks like traffic's trying to pick up again. I'm okay with that. And why is it the Fiat 500 just looks goofy to me? I got the Mini, and I got the little Fiats, but the big one, it just looks like an egg. A really malformed egg. 20-year-old Camry on the right. Saw that one. Hate those things. And back into first gear again. Yay! Thankfully, we're within the time when it should be an HOV lane up here, so hopefully all of these ding-dongs will get out of my way and I can fly a little bit. I don't think I'll be that lucky, but I wish this guy would stop lagging. Oh, he's getting out of the way. Okay. Now I don't hate you as much. Here's the bump. Ba-dunk. That bump always makes me laugh, because it's just huge and in the middle of the road, and the pavement's buckled a bit. Yeah, traffic is bad in both ways, both directions today. Funny that. Now, sometimes I will take the exit 302 Greeley to head north, because the twisties that take you through that exit are a lot of fun, because there's a nice double chicane there that's fun to go through. But I already looked at the map, and I know that halfway up Greeley is an absolute shit show. So guess what I don't want to do? Exactly what I'm doing now, but on a hill. So this is actually slightly preferable to taking that route. I can't believe I'm saying that, because that's usually the better route, but I know today it's not. And in Portland, because of the way the streets and the bridges are, you kind of have to go a couple of different routes to get where you're going, because you can't really cheat. You can't take the surface streets the whole way. You eventually must cross a bridge. So all of the bridges are busy. And now the sun just came out. So now I'm wearing a big black jacket, a big black helmet, a big black backpack, and heavy long pants, and gloves. So I can feel myself starting to sweat. But it's always the worst kind of sweating. It's always like the small of your back between your backpack, and I can also feel it in the backs of my knees. It's like, oh, come on, can I at least move a little bit? Oh, a bunch of guys over there on cruisers. Big ornate bikes. But yeah, right now I can feel my knees sweating, which is not fun. And it's going to be like this for a little while, I have a feeling. Because people have got to figure out the merge up here before they start doing something. And yes, I'm weaving a little bit because I don't want to put my feet down, so I'm weaving for my balance. Yay, fun. Yeah, this goes on for a long time. I might run out of things to talk about. I mean, not like I say anything interesting anyway. But hey, you know, I try to make this interesting. I mean, it's literally me just riding back and forth between North Portland and downtown. But, you know, if you're going to take the time to watch, I should take the time to talk about something. And I try to avoid current events because I don't want to offend anybody politically, socially, ecumenically, whatever. So, you know, I try to avoid those topics. But, yeah, right now I'm just following a Ford Edge, which really, now that I'm staring at it, has about the most boring back end I've seen in a long time. It's just not that interesting of a car. It's wide, sure, so it's got, you know, good rollover safety, but it just doesn't look interesting to me. I look at the back of that car and I'm like, okay, yeah, whatevs. Don't really care. It's almost like the 300 that's over there. Yeah, don't care. But then again, that's also one of two cars Chrysler makes, and they're going down anyway, so I don't think we can expect that to last much longer. And I'm dragging my feet now. My feet are not on the pegs, because why? Because traffic. I so love first gear. Oh, I so love first gear. And my clutch. A lot of trucks today. But, you know, with Portland, rush hour can happen any day, any time. There's no preset. It just happens when it happens. I've seen a rush hour in both directions on a Sunday at 8 a.m., which is just silly to me. It's like, how many people got to go someplace at Sunday on an 8 a.m.? That's like sleeping in and having waffles. I mean, unless you go to church, whereupon, you know, you get up, you go to church, then you go home and have waffles. But, you know, Portland isn't that religious of a town, so I'd be surprised if we're causing rush hour by people going to church. So, you know, Oh, there's a Mazda 3. I've always been a fan of the Mazda 3. I'm not sure I like that butt. It reminds me of those BMWs that were designed by, what's-his-name, Bangle. So they had that Bangle butt thing going on. It's a good car, and I like the car, but I'm not sure I like its butt. Yes, I think a lot about car butts. I think that you can do an amazing job designing a car and then ruin it with by misdesigning its taillights and its ass. There's a lot that goes into a car's ass. I mean, that's the one part of the car everybody's going to see sitting in traffic. So, I mean, you got to make it look nice. And some people knock it out of the park, and some people don't. I mean, let's look at the late model Mazdas. Look at the front end with that nice sculpted, scalloped front end with the grille. It looks like it was designed by Pininfarina, you know, the design house that does most of Ferrari's work. I mean, it's just gorgeous. I mean, they got the front end of that car perfectly. And the back end's not too bad, but still, the front end just owns it. So, you know, if you can get the front end right, why can't you get the back end right? I mean, maybe it's an afterthought. I don't know. But if I was a car designer, I'd spend most of my time thinking about the car's ass. But, you know, that's just me. Now, look over there. You saw that Mazda 6 over there? It's in front of this black truck now. That's got a really pretty butt. There's a guy on a motard thing. Yeah, here, let's see if we can... Yeah, there you go. You see that ass on that Mazda 6? That's a good-looking car. They got that ass sculpted right. I'm not sure about the chrome runner, but it's pretty. I mean, I like it. Maybe I would have done the chrome in matte black, but that's me. Do the logo in matte black? Sure. Because then that would offset the garnet red and, you know, give it kind of that nice low-profile look. Kind of understated. But, yeah, it's pretty. Oh, there's another Mazda 6, an older one. It's also kind of pretty. And now I have to scratch my nose, which is going to be a challenge in bumper traffic, because I can't slow down or speed up enough to have a second to scratch my nose. I'm trying to flip up my... Oh, this guy's getting out of the way. I think I can flip my visor up. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh. The left side of my nose is now happy. Oh, that was so much better. Oh, nothing worse than having to scratch your nose when you're wearing a helmet. I don't know how astronauts do it. I think that if I had to itch my eye or scratch my nose, and I was wearing an astronaut's helmet in a vacuum, I'd probably go insane. My mind would cave in, because I'd just be like, must scratch nose. Like, sir, we need you to go spacewalk. Nope, can't do it. Gotta come back in. Why is that, sir? I'm sorry, my nose itches. You're going to forego the spacewalk to itch your nose? Yes, I'm going to do that. Thank you, Houston. But, you know, that's me. I'm crazy. And I'm sitting in traffic talking about scratching my nose. So, you know, no accounting for taste there, I guess. No accounting for my clutch hand either. Oh, look, there's one of those crossbow things over there I can kind of see. I don't know what the appeal of those things are. I guess maybe the open cockpit and the three-wheel thing is kind of cool, but I just can't get into it. It's like people that ride those Polaris, like, three-wheel things. Okay, sure. You know, if I get old enough to someday where I can't ride a bike, I'll consider it. I guess. But it's not something that's really on my list. I mean, I like two wheels. I can balance. But, you know, if I get old enough to where I can't, I'll totally go the three-wheel route so I can keep riding. Because, really, I like being on a bike. And I'll count that as a bike if I have no other choice. Huh. Yamaha watercraft. I always wanted one of those. I'm going to dump it back down into first gear and continue pedaling on. Ooh, the Dodge Dart. I read an article a while back. Nobody bought those things. Well, except that guy. Apparently they just didn't sell at all. But then again, the classic Dodge Dart is a classic. The new one just looks like average generic car. And wow, somebody's exhaust smells terrible. Yeah, somebody's exhaust smells awful. It's a combination of burning oil and burning antifreeze. It's got that sweet smoky flavor, and not in the good way like barbecue sauce. It's like in the bad way, like toxic. But hey, I got to breathe some of it, so that's something. Too bad I'm not seeing trails. It's not like licking poison arrow frogs. Doo-doo-doo. Cruising through traffic, going 2 miles an hour. Actually, I'm going 10. But the guy in front of me is not keeping up with the car in front of him because he doesn't want to touch the brakes. He's just coasting. I really wish he would go a little faster. I wish they'd all go a little faster. And of course, the minute I let off, he pulls up a little bit. This is going to take a few minutes. Wonder how many people in this lane actually have 2 people or more in the vehicle. I'll bet you it's not that many. I'll be honest, I only have 1 person in the vehicle. And by in the vehicle, I mean on the vehicle. Well, that person had ATVs. Alright, second gear so I can luff it a little bit. My clutch hand's getting sore. And I'm sure somebody out there is going to go, oh, you probably don't ride that much if your clutch hand's getting sore. You'll be in traffic for like 10-15 minutes. Yeah, eat a dick. I do this every day, rain or shine. The only times I don't ride are when the weather is absolutely atrocious. And by that I mean ice and snow. I'll ride in burning cold, I'll ride in burning hot, torrential rains. And trust me, you'll see torrential rains. Come this winter when Portland gets disgusting, yeah, you'll see me riding in rain that ain't nobody got their right mind to ride in. But, yeah, I'll do it. I don't have anything to prove, that's for sure. I've earned my bad weather spurs. There's a guy on a bike. Yeah, I've totally earned my bad weather spurs riding in Portland winters. And friends and coworkers look at me like I'm nuts because I'm just like, I grabbed no helmet going out the door. Got on my rain gear. And out the door I go. And playing in traffic in the wet. And the funny thing is, even after all of the years I've been riding bikes, the wet still makes me nervous. I know my traction patch. I know my contact. I know my tires can hold it. I know I'm not putting a horrible lean angle on the bike. But at the same time, yeah, the wet still makes me a little bit nervous, so I don't lean as deep, and I take my curves a little bit more carefully, and I give more following distance, just because I don't trust any of these other people, and I don't want to eat it in the car. Or on the bike, rather. I don't eat in the car either. Because, yeah, wrecking a motorcycle in the rain, that just doesn't sound like fun at all. And I've had a bike slip around on me before, which is just scary. You know, when the ass of it slides out from under you, and suddenly you're drifting your bike in a situation where you shouldn't be drifting your bike. Yeah, definitely scary. And we have come to a stop, folks. I'm putting my bike in neutral for half a second and taking my hands off the handlebars because we ain't doing nothing. So, hi. Bike's going that way. Alright, now we're moving 5 feet, 10 feet maybe. Yeah, that was fun. At least we moved. Yeah, this may take a while. Yeah, this is one of those times when I really do wish that lane splitting was legal in Oregon, because I'd have a straight shot. I could make it straight up and get home nice and fast. But that's a $300 ticket we will not be earning today, folks. Because I am responsible, dependable, reliable, and so many other words that end in "ibble." And that's a whole lot of hay. And the hay makes me realize that I should probably mention that in the state of Oregon, you have the city of Portland. South of that, you have the city of Salem, and south of that, you have the city of Eugene. And the rest of it is farmland and rural mountains. All of Portland's population is pretty much contained within the big cities. Another guy on a bike. And when I say big cities, I'm not talking like New York or Boston or San Francisco. Portland's a small town that thinks it's a big city, that wishes it was still a small town. Portland really desperately wants to be the post-industrial small town it was for like 30 years, without realizing that, yeah, it can't ever be that way again. Portland is gentrifying, Portland is growing up, and Portland must change. Ooh, Porsche Panamera. That's the S series. That's one of the new ones, too. That's a pretty car. Look at them brakes. I'm not a fan of SUVs, but I do like Porsches. I do like fast sedans, and they did a pretty okay job with that car. I'm not hating it, that's for sure. Can't afford one to save my life, but I'm not hating it. I've always had a love of Porsches. When I was a very, very little kid, my mom owned a 1972 Porsche 914. Somebody out there is going to say, oh, that's the Volkswagen of Porsches. Yeah, remember that aforementioned eating a dick thing? Go right ahead. She loved that car, and that car was amazing. And they're starting to see a renaissance, excuse me, of people with that car, turning them into race cars because they're low, they're wide, they're light, and they're fast. And you can shoehorn a massive engine into the mid-engine compartment. And yeah, my mom drove that car everywhere, all over the country like 4 times, through some of the worst snow you've ever seen, across some of the burning hot deserts of the Midwest. Yeah, that little 914 was one of her all-time favorites. And it was one of mine, too. I cried when she sold that car. And I was like 5. And I cried about a car when I was 5. So that should tell you something about my proclivity towards vehicles. I cried when my mom sold her car when I was 5. And yeah, we still miss that car. Always will. Alright, eventually I do need to get over a lane or so, because my exit is coming up, and I gotta figure out a way to do that in stop-and-go traffic. So that's gonna be an interesting challenge here, I think. Is figuring out, there's a truck behind this car. Oh, no, they're stopping, but I'm going to try and luff it in anyway. Toyota IA. Is that like playing off the whole uncapitalized I thing that Apple does, like iMac and iPod and iPhone and iPad? iCar, iAss, IA. I don't know what that means. Maybe it's IA or IA or I. Don't know. Alright, if this guy would actually pull forward a little bit, I might be able to get over another lane. I'd like to cut in front of this truck so I don't have to fight with him. I always try to make sure I have enough trailing distance ahead of me and behind me, so I'm not forcing the trucker to jam on his brakes and have to gear down, because that's a jerky move, and I don't want to do that to the trucker. Because you know what? He got enough to manage already. Always be nice to the trucks. Rule of thumb. Always be nice to the trucks. Alright, this actually took a little less time than I thought it would be, because we're starting to move a little bit. And very shortly, I will get to my exit and be very happy about it. Very happy indeed. But it'll always stop right before my exit, so I have to sit there and stare at it. And truth be told, I'm not somebody who's just going to cut the shoulder, because every time I see somebody do that in a car, it just irritates the hell out of me. So I'm going to practice what I preach and be a responsible rider and wait for the lane to open up so that I can actually go. I might skirt the last half foot of it or so, but I try not to be a jerk about it. That, and there's people that are coming down the ramp, I don't want to cut them off either. Probably going to duck in front of this big white SUV thing that's coming. Oh, he's actually going to get in behind me. So that works out in my favor. But Central Transport here is luffing the lane. So now I gotta wait for him to do something, because ain't nobody gonna let his candy ass in. That's pretty much a given. Or is he just going to take the exit? I think he gave up. Yeah, I totally think he gave up, and he's just going to take another route because nobody was letting him in. Of course, he didn't have his signals on either, so he was just kind of sitting there. That was weird. Pontiac Solstice. Don't make those anymore. Alright, we are getting close to the end of our adventure here, folks. Thanks for watching this morning and for watching this afternoon. I hope it was entertaining, if not exciting. As always, good morning, good day, good evening, good night, good whatever. I appreciate your viewership. Check out our website, www.damagemfg.com. I just rebuilt the website, and it looks pretty damn swanky, I think. It needs a lot of work, but it's getting there. So yeah, check out the website. Also, if you feel like it, buy a t-shirt. For the love of God, buy a t-shirt. Help me pay for all of this. At the same time, there's a button on the website that says stickers! If you click the button, it will open up a page so you can email me. If you email me and ask for stickers, I will send you an envelope chock full of stickers, and you can slap them all kinds of fun stuff. The only rule of thumb is that if I do send you stickers, you gotta send me pictures of where you put the stickers so I can throw them up on Instagram. Because that's the way that works. It's all about, viral marketing. So, yeah, ask for some stickers, buy a t-shirt, watch the podcast, and support this little venture because it's a hell of a lot of fun. I'm enjoying doing it, and I hope you're enjoying it too. And we're waiting for the truck to go. This may take a few minutes because he's going to be very patient, I have a feeling. And also people are coming. So I'm going to put it in neutral, and I'm going to sit here for a minute. Yay, I've already said my goodbyes, and we're not going anywhere. So I guess you get me for a little bit longer. Whoopity-doo. And those clouds look angry over there. Oh, I just heard his air brakes. That means he's moving. It's all about them nonverbal cues. Because once he gets up to the line, then I gotta wait to go because somebody else will be coming, I guarantee you. Alright there, low boy. Oh, no, looks like I get to go too. Alright. I'm gonna shoot past him real fast and get out of the way. And now, folks, I will yet again say, thanks for watching. Truck pulling out in front of me. Thanks for watching. Have a really great day. Take care of yourselves. Ride safe, ride smart, ride well. We'll see you next time.